Also at the UN, world leaders will adopt the latest drive to help end poverty. The new set of international targets will mark the end of the Millennium Development Goals, which have helped to improve the lives of some of the world's poorest. And as CCTV's Nick Harper reports, the UN has recognized China for reaching its own goals and for helping others reach theirs.
This month, the United Nations is auditing the planet, taking stock and looking at what's been achieved globally over the last 15 years of the Millennium Development Goals. And it's China that's considered to be one of the major success stories.
The Millennium Development Goals really galvanized international attention around poverty. China has performed astonishingly relative to the Millennium Development Goals because of its economic growth.
China's economic boom of the last 2 decades helped to pull around 500 million people out of extreme poverty. That helped it to become one of the first countries to reach the MDG goal of halving the number of people suffering extreme hunger.
The fact that you have had rapid growth and it has enabled many more people to earn much more, this has basically meant that there has been significant progress, especially in China.
China has also made extraordinary progress in other MDG categories. According to the UN, China has reduced the child mortality rate for under fives by at least 2/3, cut the maternal mortality rate by 3/4, and halved the number of people with no access to safe drinking water. On top of that, China helped more than 120 other countries achieve their own goals, many through the South-South cooperation, a special agreement to help developing nations. But the new Sustainable Development Goals could be more challenging for China, as they include specific targets for the environment.
Climate change is going to be extremely difficult for China because of the fuel sources that they use to power their cities and run their economy, very dependent, obviously, on electricity for production, and a very large population that increasingly is aiming to live in a Western sort of manner, which is not sustainable.
World leaders are due to endorse the new goals this weekend, marking a new chapter in global development. As the Millennium Development Goals wrap up, there's a feeling that the last 15 years have seen progress, but not quite perfection. Now, with the new Sustainable Development Goals, the hope is that these targets will be taken one step further forward, hopefully all the way to completion. But as before, will China be leading the way? Nick Harper, CCTV, New York.